Bohanes. I'm a entrepreneur from London. I lived in London for the last 10 years, and before that I lived in Austria. So originally I'm from Czech Republic. We left when I was 6 years old. I lived in Austria for most of my life, and then in my late 20s I moved to London to do my MBA. I worked at Google for 3.5 years, then I left to start my own startup, because when you're working at Google, you are so surrounded by the startup ecosystem and everybody speaking about tech that it just comes naturally, right? At some point you're going to leave and start your own startup. And then I worked in this startup didn't work out, and then I went into work as an employee for other startups. And right now I'm starting my own content marketing agency. And the reason why I'm here in Albania is that I have been involved in a group of entrepreneurs in London who, send each other, opportunities and mentioned that there's things, what kind of things they're out to do. And one of them mentioned that somebody is looking for an entrepreneur in residence for Macedonia and Albania. And when I read this, I said, well, that sounds fun to be working from a country that I've never been in. I'm not very familiar with it, but I'm from the Eastern Bloc, so to say. And I thought that could be quite interesting to just work with local entrepreneurs while I'm still, because it's a half-time position, while I'm still working on my own business. So that kind of appealed to me, and I was really curious to meet the locals. To be fair, when I heard that it was Albania, I was particularly intrigued, because I know that of all the former Eastern Bloc countries, it was the one that was the most closed and most kind of dictatorial in the communist era. And so I thought that the particular development that it has undergone since then would be very just interesting to observe and to be part of it for a short time. So just to go from one extreme and hopefully to see how the other extreme, very strong entrepreneurship community, how these two things contrast, right? How does an entrepreneur thrive in a place that was as closed during the communist era as Albania? So that was the interesting thing for me. So what I've seen so far, so I've been here for a week now, slightly more than that. And I've met a bunch of people, especially in Macedonia, where we were last week, and one entrepreneur here in Albania. And one thing that has struck me is that there does not seem to be a very strong, eagerness to get other people's opinion, to seek feedback. I come from a culture where this is sometimes even you go to the other extreme, where you just seek too much feedback and you ask too much people what they think of your idea. Here there seems to be less of that. Now, I've heard that this could be partially because people are more guarded, as a culture. You simply don't share as much about yourself as you would, for example, in Western Europe. Partially it's viewed as something you're giving up your competitive advantage. If you share too much, you may be alerting other people of an opportunity. And that could be another reason. That also it could also have to do with shyness. I don't know, I had one impression when I was speaking to an Albanian entrepreneur that there was a bit of that this guardedness that was maybe also combined with shyness. That could also be another one. But generally my first observation is that whereas in London there would be more of a feedback culture. Hey, so how was my presentation? How did I do? What do you think of the business? So I was in Macedonia. There was an event where I was supposed to give coaching or pitching advice to a few entrepreneurs. And normally when I do these things in London, there's much more afterwards. People come up to you and speak to you more. Hey, what do you think? What do you think? There was much less of this here, right? So I wonder. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I just feel that simply gathering more information, gathering more input about yourself is usually good by default. It doesn't mean that you have to act on it. It would be horrible if everybody says that you then course correct after every single instance of feedback. But generally, on the whole, I think it's a better idea to simply just gather the feedback and then integrate it within yourself and think about it, rather than not seek it out at all. So, long story short, I do believe that there could be more of a feedback culture here, seeking it out and taking it in without becoming defensive. So that will be one of my very first observations. On the other hand, what I saw, some of the startups that I met in Macedonia are incredibly advanced, very sophisticated, very ambitious. I love that. For example, Grouper in Macedonia, Nina, the founder, and Martin, the co-founder, they really have this kind of conquering the world mentality, even if at this point their world is only Macedonia, but they definitely see the need to, at some point, it's a country of 2 million people, so they need to expand, right? So that was very impressive and far more sophisticated and advanced than I had expected it to be. With expectations usually comes prejudice. So I want to approach the experience completely as a blank slate. I think there is a risk if you come with too kind of preformed expectations that you give, especially given that there's such a difference in entrepreneurial activity between London, where I live, and Albania, that you might come across as condescending and Mr. Know-it-all. And I definitely want to avoid that impression. Everybody has their challenges. Wherever you try to start a business, it is difficult whether you're in Silicon Valley or whether you're in London and whether you're in Tirana. These challenges are different. And I simply want to meet people and hear about the challenges that they have and not necessarily come with a preconceived notion. So I'm a sponge at this point.